and our private group, we were actually going through and the quizzes and some of the tests for the Small Business Accelerator program that is, we're going to be releasing it any day now. So if you're not familiar with Small Business Accelerator program, it's our 10-week program where you're going to go through, and each week we're going to have a quiz for you. And at the end of the 10 weeks, you're going to receive a certification, sort of like LinkedIn learning, that you can post on your LinkedIn profile saying that you have mastered this subject. So we're very excited for that because we are seeking accreditation, and we are looking forward to having all of you go through and pass so that you know what you're talking about when you go out here into the real world. And then also gives you credibility with teaming partners and also potential suppliers, vendors, and folks that you work with. So we'd like to be the standard. And believe it or not, I was on a call today with someone from NIH, and they were saying how the government is rapidly losing people in their offices. So there's going to be some opportunities for some of us to go and work on the dark side. That's okay, you know. But hopefully, with that being said, you can increase the actual rates. You can move up the different from GSA whatever to GSA whatever, 11 to 13, 13 to 15. I don't know how high it goes because I'm not a government guy. So again, as always, thanks for joining us tonight. The first thing that we like to do is say, tell us who you are, tell us what you do, the city that you're from. So we know who we're talking to. We want to make this about you. And we want to be able to be mindful of everyone's time out here. So first thing, let us know who you are. Tell us what you do. Okay. And if you know me, I don't care about your certifications. In fact, please don't tell me about your certifications. I could care less. I don't want to know what cert you have. All right. Maria, what did I say? Why are you on mute?
Do not tell us what certification. Leave
not.
everything except for that.
Right. In fact, I'm going to create a banner and bold.
Certifications allowed.
Okay. Okay. I'm adding this banner right now. Okay. So please tell me who you are. Tell me what you do. Right. I want to know who you are, what you do. We are about actually empowering people. We want to give you the tools, the resources. We want to teach you how to do this. We want to make you competent. We want to make you valuable as a supplier, as a vendor. So no one cares, right? And yes, you're going to say, well, Eric, when I go to the government, they say, what certs do I have? Yeah, because that's the only thing that you've got to offer them. So of course they say what certs you have. But when you go out there and you talk to the government and you tell them their problems and how your solution solves their problems, they're more concerned about that than I promise you than your certifications. So when you introduce yourself, tell me who you are, tell me what you do. All right, please. That's what we're asking for today. 35 people joined. Please hit the like button. All right. For some reason, I couldn't connect the LinkedIn people today, so the LinkedIn folks are off. So I'm looking for some folks out here. The other thing is, I'm going to drop this in the chat real quick. So if you do want to come up here and speak to us, I'm definitely interested in hearing from you. If you want to come up here and ask questions, today is your day. Brandon and myself, my son Brandon, we've been looking at it, and our plan is we want to start back streaming 3 days a week. So we're looking at Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays. Okay.
Sundays is the day of rest.
Okay, thank you for that. But however, the reports reveal that Sundays is our most active times for people watching our YouTube channel. So while we're still there, please, again, keep telling us who you are, what you do, so that we know. If you're new and you've never been on our channel before, the link still works, freegovconcourse.com. Feel free to drop by there and sign up for our free course. It's always the first place to start. If you're new to our channel, you've never heard about us, again, start there at freegovconcourse.com. And we do have someone. Look, see, Tam says she's streaming every day. Look at Tam right below. So again, we want to talk about that today. Let's bring my man Jameson up and see what Jameson's got going on.
Hey, Eric.
How are you?
Hey, Maria. I'm good. How you doing? I just about to write in the chat. I'm here.
Okay.
I just see you pop up in YouTube. I say I have to get there.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it.
How's everything going on?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah. We online. I'm gonna tell you on the chat, but I've been waiting for the emails. Maria, you forget about me.
Actually, you never emailed me, and
I did.
Erica's been asking me. Erica's like, someone does pro? I'm like, yes, he was in the YouTube live that I was on and he was still at the shop. I'm like, go tell that person to go back to the video. He's going to see that he's in the shop right when he's talking.
Yeah, I'm still in the shop.
I see that again.
Yeah. So I emailed you multiple times. I don't know.
Maybe it went to spam. Some of our emails go to spam.
I'm going to look right now.
Yeah, because the email is print@jpoqualityimage.com. I'm gonna send it on the chat again.
All right. What's your question?
I just get in.
Not emailing you.
I just want to try to get on the StreamYard. I don't even know the subject yet. I don't know. I just want to say what inside for me, and then because I want to drink so bad.
Okay. All right, there you go. All right, good stuff. Maria, what's the subject today?
Today is, why do government contracts fail?
Right. Why do government contracts fail? So, Maria, since you got Jameson up here, why don't you talk about some of your experiences? What's has happened in the past with some of your contracts?
Talking to him or me?
Maria, why don't you talk about some of your contracts?
I was trying to find his email at the same time. Okay, so for those that know, I became a project manager here in South Florida, and I have 2 projects going on at the same time. When the government tells you you have 120 days to complete this project, they mean you have 120 days. And that's creating a lot of turmoil right now for me. It's very overwhelming when you have 2 projects going on, because subs promise and overpromise, and when you have that contract in front of them that you are the prime, you have this opportunity, they say yes. Oh yes, we could do it. Oh yes, we're gonna work together. Oh yes, they build the dreams and beautiful rainbows and unicorns, and everything's gonna work so much. And 120 days. Oh, don't worry, Maria, we're gonna get that done in 90 days. Mm-hmm. We are 110 days. And I don't have not even flooring in my project. I don't have nothing. Like, it is a good 40% away. And when you try to tell them that you need certain things, they fight back. I feel like grown men, and I'm being very honest and transparent, grown men right now are like 2-year-olds. When you tell them no, and that you need something, or you point out something they're doing wrong, they're going to kick, scream, cry, yell, do everything, make every excuse in the book, except take responsibility and tell you how we're going to get this done. So that's what's going on. I have the government in one ear telling me, hey, time is ticking. We need this space. I have another project the same way. Judges are saying it's cold in here. We need to get this done. And you're running around trying to show face, because at the end of the day, I am the face of these projects. I am the person they've seen in the last year. And it gets to the point, it's like, dude, you've been here for a year. We need our space back. And it's been change order, modification, everything. Yeah, things have been delayed, but you shouldn't take that long to get doors in. So that's my biggest struggle right now, is subcontractors not doing. So I just wanted to put it out there for everyone that says, I want a contract. And Eric talked about it last night in one of our members only calls. It's like, don't overpromise. don't say you could do something just because you want this contract and underestimate and all this, for at the end of the day, you're losing, I'm losing. We're here trying to figure things out. And it's like I'm swimming backwards at some point. So that's what's going on right now. It feels like both buildings were on fire. When a building manager is calling you at 7:30 in the morning, that's when you know something's bad. People don't call you at 7:30 in the morning when something's good.
No.
So interesting enough, Maria. And so we actually just launched the podcast episode interview that I did with Diane Dempsey from BAE Systems. And Diane says, and I quote, she goes, number 10, if you start the race, we want to finish the race with you. All right. And so what does that mean? That means that essentially we're not interested in kicking you off the project. We're not interested in trying to take your money. We're interested in helping see this through the end. And so, but if you jeopardize my contract, if you jeopardize my relationships, if you jeopardize my money, then I'm left with no other choice but to take action, right, against you, because now you're risking my reputation, which again goes against my CPARS. I hope everyone out there knows what CPARS is, right? Jameson, do you know what a CPARS is?
No.
Jameson's do. All right. So again, if it goes against your CPARS, right, then now you're hurting me from potentially getting other contracts with that agency or other agencies for similar type of work because you failed to do your job. How many people out there know what CPARS is? Okay, so good. That's a great lesson. Let's talk about that today, Maria, since no one knows, right, or not enough people know about CPARS. All right, Maria, why don't you take it away? I'm going to share a screen.
Okay.
While you talk through it.
So CPARS is a contractor performance assessing report. Basically, it is your report card or your progress report on how you did a project. So when you have projects over, I believe, 250,000 threshold, you are going to receive one of these. They are done by, in my case, it is the project manager over the contract and the contracting officer. They all get together and put all the notes in there, how you were doing, what were your strengths, what were your challenges, how long did it take you, are you on schedule, things like that. We just got one for one of our projects during halfway phase, and it's good. And one of the things I heard that day when they were like, hey, we got to get this done, is like, we just gave you a good CPARS. Please don't let us change that. And and that is like, this company, we've been around for 30 years. And like he said, our reputation. My other PM is telling me, it's like, I've never had the delinquent, what is it? I can't even think.
Liquidated damages
in the past 20 years. There's no way I'm going to start with one of our smallest projects. So CPARS is a report card, and it's what follows you. It follows you to every single other project. So
now I'm gonna I want to show you something because I think this is super important for folks out there. I'm pulling this up, and I want to show you how this applies in real life. So when we actually do projects, I see you, Kyree, you made it. Give me a second. When we actually do real projects, so this is something that we put together. And when we actually submit on actual projects, we put in there, right, part of the requirements to submit on when we're bidding projects or even when we're negotiating is our CPARS rating. So those are some of the requirements that the government is asking of me and my team when we're looking at future work and future opportunities that we're pursuing. The government's saying, tell me your CPARS rating on previous jobs. So if some subcontractor failed to do his part and he delayed you, he jeopardized you or me as the prime, that hurts my CPARS rating. Now on future projects, I've got a lower rating, and that's going to jeopardize me from getting additional work. So it's critical that you are courteous and respectful and mindful of that, because if you do that, or if you jeopardize a prime contractor's CPARS rating or potentially jeopardize it, you could imagine the consequences are going to be pretty steep, and as they should be, because for me, this is my business. This is my livelihood. This is how I take care of my family. This is how I feed my kids. So if you're trying to take away food out my mouth, out my family's mouth, out my kids' mouth, I'm coming at you with everything I got. And so don't be upset when the prime contractor throws everything at you, the book, the wall, the belt, everything, because you are jeopardizing the way that they eat and the way they feed their family. So I just wanted people to know that, because this is super, super important. And it's part of what happens as we're the small guys. We don't think about like, oh, it was just a little mistake. Oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. You know, oh, like, look, it was only $20,000, but $20,000 caused me to get a poor CPARS, which caused me not to get my next $5, $10, $15 million contract, which is basically a multi-million-dollar income to me. Does that make sense?
One of the things in the CPARS is management, assessing official comments. One of ours were management. The contractor's PN has been proactive. She has been actively engaging with government to solve project-related issues. As of right now, we are rated very good on this project because I have my CPARS up on this particular project. So it would, like Colin said, yeah, it would totally suck. Like, we are in the last of it. It's like one more month. I have one more month after all this for it to just go down the drain. And it's just, whoo, it's harsh. It's very harsh. So my thing right now is make sure your subs are ready. Because I started out as different. Huh?
Make sure you're ready.
Why?
Because what I'm saying is, you're saying your subs because you're the prime, but some of the people that you're talking to are going to be primes.
Okay.
So if they're winning the contract, make sure you're procurement ready. Whoever agrees to take on this responsibility, just make sure you're ready as a company.
And at the end of the day, like, they're telling us, the government agency are saying, it's like, our contract's not with them. It might be their fault, and we see it's their fault, but at the end of the day, it's you. You are the contract holder. You are the one that's responsible for delivering. Whatever methods and ways you're going to make it happen, it is up to you to make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let me bring my man Kyree up here. Jameson, I'm already looking at your stuff.
I forwarded already. You should have seen it.
Check your email. She's forwarded.
Oh, okay.
You got it?
I see the email. Okay.
Oh, I'm in. Hello?
Kyree.
How's it going?
Great.
All right, so I'm going to get started here. I'm 22.
I'm going to email you, Maria. All right, thank you.
All right. I can speak?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm 22. I've been trying to develop something for the military for the past year now. What I want to develop is a radar jamming missile for the military, but I don't know where to start. I've been watching your videos all day today, and I have my Arduino here, but that's just for the movable fins. So I have to really get deep into this. I have the code written up on Arduino RDE on my computer in Python, but it's going to be a long ways. I have it right here on my computer.
All right, so you've got an idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you need help with on that?
When I'm finished with everything, probably in about a year or two, I want to know, okay, so I'm investing money into this, my own money and everything. I own an online business. I do credit repair, but I want to branch out and do more things. So, when I finish everything, I want to know, how will I get this? You said I had a license to the military contractors. Is that true?
No.
No? Okay. I was watching a video. They said I had to license my idea to the contractors, or Lockheed Martin or something. I live in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. So, are you saying, hey, Eric, I'm going to fund this thing myself, and then when it's
Yeah.
finished, I'm going to know what to do next?
Yes.
Okay, so that's easy. Once you've done that, well, the first thing that I would do, right, I would not necessarily build anything that the government doesn't want, because that's a lot of times what people's problem is. They build something that they
Hello?
think they want and not what they actually want.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear us? So I'm going to keep talking, even if he falls up. So I'm going to answer this question. And it's funny, if you look here, right, number 5, deliver what they ask, not what you think they want. So I love this because you see how I have these things up. A lot of times, this is what happens to small businesses. We go out and say, I want to sell this to the government. Well, they don't necessarily need that, right? But they want this other stuff that you're like, oh, I don't want to sell that. I want to sell this other special thing. So I recommend to people is go find out if the government need a military, whatever, a weapons jamming system, right? And if they need that and they're saying they don't have it, or they're saying that you find that they exist, that need exists, then I would consider building it, but not beforehand, right? Because it's really difficult to try to convince them to buy something that they don't feel they need. And because the government's already risk averse, it's more uphill battle trying to say, hey, come take this thing, right? Like you have to have it. No, I don't, right? If it's not a priority, if it's not part of the budget, then you could essentially be building something that there's no funding for. What if they love your idea, but there's no funding? So I would not encourage anyone to go out and build anything, right, with their money, particularly if you want to sell it to the government, right, unless you were sure that this is something that they wanted. And so there's a couple places to do that. But again, today's topic is what, Maria? Mistakes. What was the topic? We can't. I don't know why you keep going on mute. And then you guys.
Why do government contracts fail?
That's why people fail right there. Building something that the government didn't ask you to build and then hoping that they would buy it after you built it. I've heard that so many times. Like, oh, I have this thing that I want to sell to the government. Did the government say they needed that thing? Oh, no, but I know it's really cool and it's a great idea.
They totally need it, Eric. They just don't know they need it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, and I'm with Pierce. Stay away from USFCR. They don't have a teaming program. It's all a scam. The whole company's a scam. But if you sign up for them, when you get scammed, just know we told you.
And then they come to us like, I don't have no more money left.
I don't have any more money because USFCR took all my money.
And you get a capability statement with their stamp on it. That means nothing. It means you didn't do it yourself.
Yes. All right. What else? Who else do we have up here? Who's else going to be brave and come up?
While we're waiting for them to come up, I'll tell you the second part to my story this morning at 7:30. When your subs threaten you that they're going to walk off that job, it's like, what do you do then when you have 10 days to deliver? So,
say what now? Repeat that again.
The subs emails and calls and threatens to walk off the job right now with 10 days left. So that happened this morning as well. So what do you do, Eric?
If a sub threatens me to walk off the job, actually, I think that's perfect. Because because I've had so many times that I've been beat up and I've been sued and I've had all these bad things happen to me. I understand how this goes. And so for me, anybody who abandons a contract in Florida, they essentially forfeit their rights to receive the balance of their monies owed. And so if they decide to do that, that's fine. I cancel their contract and I go find someone else that can do the work. And then at the same time, whatever differences that we incur, we go after their bonding for them. So it typically works out because most of the time, if they've got a bond on the job, then the bonding company is going to settle with you as a GC for them abandoning the project. That's an easy win. I mean, that's an easy. That's like a. That's one of those type of crimes that it doesn't even go to trial. You're already guilty. I really am not a fan of paying someone and begging them. That's not my style. So if that's your guys' style out there, pay and beg someone to work, just know you're going to be dealing with a lot of headaches. So for me, I don't play that. In fact, Maria, you know that I've said to you several times you should have kicked them off the job. So I personally recommend kicking them off the job sooner than later. But I understand that it's not as easy to do than it is to say. We are inviting people to come up to stage and talk with us today about the subject. If you want to share any of your experiences or ask any questions, that's the link in there. Trucker Simple says, ouch, don't mess with Eric. Yes. Hey, man, you know what? So the thing is, this is what people don't understand, right? About, we all know that anything worth having is worth working for, but we all do not want to work for that thing. So none of us want to go through the pain of having a six-pack, the diet, the regimen, the fitness, the discipline. None of us, right? That's why there's so few of us that have six-packs. But we know if we go through and we eat healthy and we exercise, like we know this stuff, and we eat like a rabbit or a bird, and we fast and we eat vegetables at night, and we know that we could get a six-pack. Like we know it's achievable, but we don't go through the pain. And so I'll tell you something that happened to me yesterday. But what I have in my experiences, and to answer your question, Truck and Simple, what my experience in life have taught me is that when bad things happen to me, it usually works out for my benefit later on that I didn't see like long term. So I'm actually thankful for the same way I'm thankful that I got put on child support when I was actually in college, which I couldn't see the blessing in disguise by being a 19-year-old on child support. Right? I didn't see that. No one can tell me you can see that like blessing in disguise. But then when I became an adult and I had my construction companies, and my employees who were grown men now wanted me to pay them under the table to avoid their child support, I was like, oh, hell no, because I paid child support at 19 years old. So y'all for to pay child support at 35 and 38 years old, y'all grown men. We don't do that here. What happens is today, right? As many of you know, my son works for me. I've got a great relationship with my son. He actually moved within 10 minutes of me intentionally to be closer to me. If I decide to move to another city, he wants to move there as well. We've got a great bond together. We live together. And so those are things that even very, very wealthy people don't have that they wish they had as a better relationship with their family. So, I mean, it's a long ways to go about it. But these are the things that taught me. It allowed me to get jobs when I was in college. So, I mean, I already had a good work ethic, but I had to continue getting better jobs. I continued growing. I had to continue developing myself so I can have more skills to earn more money, because I did have to go to school. I did have to pay for my living, and I had to pay child support. And so a lot of times my paychecks were $0 because I used to work at Kinko's. But what I find is that a lot of us out here who are so-called Christians don't have no faith. And I say that to a lot of the people is that, wait, I thought everybody I know, at least most of the people that are Black and brown people out here, are very strong people of faith. And then when you pick the people in the South and the Midwest, the same thing is that for me, I've listened to that internal thing that's taught me over time and time. When I didn't have enough money to make payroll, when I couldn't figure out like how I was going to get a check and I had no money in my accounts, it's always worked out. So a recent story that I had that happened to me literally yesterday. So I found out about a conference. And by the way, keep posting. I keep putting in the chat for people to come up. So don't be afraid to come up here and talk to us. 73 people watching. Again, Marie, can you drop that in the chat?
I'm doing it right now. It has
Okay.
a poke face so everyone sees it.
So something literally happened to me yesterday. This happened yesterday. I learned about this conference in Hawaii. And so I was like, oh, I learned about this conference in Hawaii for Native Hawaiian organizations. And then I went online. I was like, okay, let me check out the plane tickets. Let me check out the hotel. Bought the plane tickets, bought the hotel. And then Maria and I taught a class at Tuesday night to our members. So we went in, right? And we did the class. And then Maria and I worked after that for another hour or two. And then I went to bed. I woke up this morning to buy my registration for the event because I thought that's the least thing I got to worry about was the event. As long as I got my plane tickets, my hotel, I'm straight. So guess what? The event registration was closed. Yo, and you know I bought non-refundable tickets. Y'all already know how we do. You know I bought some non-refundable tickets.
You're gonna get the insurance to get.
I didn't get insurance. I didn't get none of that stuff because them tickets to Hawaii was already like hit me across the head. So I just, I was like, dang. But again, having, my sets of experiences in life, right? I didn't panic. I didn't go crazy. I didn't even talk to nobody about it.
That's one thing you don't do. When things go wrong,
I don't panic. Everyone else panics, so I didn't panic. So, matter of fact, let me bring this person up real quick, and so she can get in. Hey, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello. Long time no see. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We're doing great, love. Hold on, let me finish my story. I gotta finish it.
Okay.
So look. So I bought my tickets to Hawaii. I bought my hotel to Hawaii, non-refundable, and then the registration was closed today. And I was okay. Like at first, it was like, okay, it's $500. It went up because it was late registration, but then it was just closed. Like you couldn't buy no more tickets. So I was like, all right. So I reached out to my friend and I texted her this morning, the lady who told me to go to the event. I was like, hey, this registration is closed. Like I got my tickets, I got my hotel, and the registration is closed. I said, morning, I'm trying to register for the event and it's saying it's sold out. Can you look into it, please? As I already booked my plane tickets and my hotel. And then I went online, I found the event people, and I DM'd one of them on LinkedIn, like, hey, can you open this registration for me? Because I've already bought my ticket. I'm in Florida going to Hawaii. I'm not around the corner. I got 2 stops. I got a 20-hour plane ride, between planes and overstays. So, right. So my friend texts me back and she goes, oh, I should have an extra registration because of my sponsorship. I will email the team to confirm and I'll have them handle your registration.
So you got your free ticket?
Wait, it gets better. It gets better, right? So apparently, and again, this was first thing this morning. So when I got the email from the organizer, okay, because now my friend who's a sponsor emailed the event organizer to ask to get me the extra ticket. So now I'm talking to the event organizer and she emails me back and says, oh, Eric, it's a pleasure to have you coming to our event. Maybe next year we can have you as a speaker. Here's your free registration. Click the link and sign up. So most of people would have went into panic mode, kicking and screaming and throwing stuff down and, right? And I kept cool, I kept calm, and I just said, hey, look, because I'm in, I committed, right? But this is what y'all do not do. I'm telling you, I know, because I know y'all. I know a lot of y'all out here in this call. Y'all, so don't.
I'll be the first one trying. Oh, they closed it and I don't know what to do.
This is what y'all fail to do. And that's the difference between me, right? Like I am a person of faith. So like they said here, like literally that's, I mean, I live it and I tell people all the time. And so I continue to demonstrate that. And so you never hear me complain. You never hear me whine because I'm also a person that's very, very appreciative. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful for everything I have. And again, that comes because of all of my life experiences. And again, like I tell people, if this is the hardest thing I got to do is make YouTube videos for y'all, instead of going outside in a 95-degree sun in Florida and being on top of a roof and slinging bricks and yelling at people, I'm ready to look. I'm happy right here. I could die right in front of this camera and my life be fulfilled my purpose. Because if you ever been on top of a metal roof in South Florida where it's like 95 degrees outside and then it's like 100 degrees on top of the roof and your shoes about to melt and you can boil an egg on there, it's ridiculous. So, all right. I just want to. My man Brian says Eric does not allow no in his space. I do not.
One thing I learned from Eric was second effort.
Second effort. Please. Robert, you lived that second effort. Colin, you lived it second effort. Brian, you lived it second effort. Tyronda, you've lived it second effort. I know a lot of you folks out here. Second effort. All right. So listen, BVincent, Vincent Consultant. All right. I just have to get out my system, you know.
No worries, no worries. Hello, good evening. So I just have a quick question, and for the record, I am a Govcon student. I have been for what, 2 years maybe?
Okay. I know you said you had said a comment at the beginning that kind of led to that.
Yeah. So I have been in Govcon, working on it, not using second effort, going away, and now I'm back. And I'm working with a client on a real estate deal.
I'm gonna say this: you bought 2 years ago, so you got a great price.
But I didn't buy lifetime 2 years ago, which I should have. But now I pay annually in October.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, Maria worked that out with you. But go ahead.
But my question is, and I meant to get on last night, but I missed it. Okay. I have this deal I'm working on with the real estate agent, and the government wants to buy a house.
Nice.
And in it says the government cannot pay any commissions towards the purchase price. And the agent he's not a new agent, but new to government contracting. Right. And I can't make this make sense because the only thing I'm used to doing is like, okay, well, we'll buy the house and sell it back to the government. But who wants to do that in case they don't like the house and don't buy the house? Are you familiar with this kind of real estate contract?
I've never heard of that before, but I'm sure there's a way around it.
Right. So we ended up having a meeting on Monday with the owners of the realty company that he works under. Yep. And they want to go back they went back to the point of contact themselves and said, okay, well, we need a proof of funds because proof of funds force the government to enter into this agreement that they'll use them, but the point of contact has not answered any of their phone calls. And I want to now send an email. It's kind of like a on faith thing. And it's a thing that you guys like, don't do that. But, I'm doing like a lot of things to build a relationship.
Right. I like when people know me because they like, so that means you already know me. You know what I'm going to say?
You didn't hear it out.
Listen, I love y'all. Why y'all? Colin, where you at when I need you at? Colin will get into you.
He already said. His comment was W.
Oh, look, Colin already cracked in there. Look. I know Colin. All right, no Colin. All right.
I do know Colin.
I'm listening. Go ahead. So you doing more stuff than you're supposed to.
Right, because they are not set up in sam.gov or any of the things, but I just feel like I keep seeing these contracts that I pull that I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't know the company or whatever. And then it disappears unawarded.
Okay.
You know, and I feel like this is another one of those. And the budget for the house is $1.8 million.
Okay.
But it's Ford Admiral, so yeah, 1.8, but they want like $1 million house, you know.
Sure.
So
right.
I've
never seen that where they don't allow commission, but I've never tried to sell the government a house. But I'm sure that from my understanding, right, when they don't like, so I'll give you an example of situations that I face with. So when I'm doing some negotiations, we have profit and then we have G&A, right? General administration or overhead expenses. So in some of my contracts, the government will say, hey, you can't make, well, they can't say that anymore. They will, like, let's say I have 12% overhead and 8% profit, which is 20% total. Sometimes if you put, I don't know, 30% overhead and 5% profit, they'll be like, your overhead's too high. So then you go, okay, I'll take that overhead down, but I'll increase my profit. So it's like, you know, it's the same thing. So even though they may not, and so like, for example, I was a realtor for 5 years. When I sold properties and this is kind of crazy. When I sold properties in Miami, right, we charge the commissions to the seller of the house. And when I sold properties in Broward, we charge the commission to the buyers of the home.
Okay.
Right. Now, if you look at it, if a house is, let's say, $1 million and the commission is $60,000, well, at the end of the day, the homeowner still gets $940K. So the truth is, regardless of who you claim is paying the commission, the owner still gets the same amount at the end of the day.
So that was the other question.
You understand that?
I think I understand that, and I think you talked about that.
If the homeowner accepts $940,000, right, and you sell the house for $1 million, it doesn't matter if you say that the buyer is paying the commission or that the seller is paying the commission, because as long as the homeowner gets his $940, like on a closing statement, it doesn't matter to them. They're not getting more than $940.
Is that not kickback?
What do you mean kickback? It's no. When you sell a house, there's a commission as part of the listing agreement.
Okay.
So when you sell, so you've never been in real estate before? No,
I'm not in real estate.
So whenever they say we're selling a house, there's a 6% commission. So if you sell a house for $1 million, a 6% commission is still 6%. It doesn't matter who you claim pays it.
Okay.
It's still 6%. So it's coming out of the seller's money. That seller's going to get 6% less.
So how would that affect? So as the consultant, would I need to work directly with the preferred listing agent? Because the houses that, like, I'm working with an agent, right? He pulled about 8 properties that fit the criteria. He pulled the properties, but they're all clearly for sale, which means all of the owners already have an agreement with an agent, which is how it got to market. None of them are for sale by owner.
Yeah, this is something I agree with Brian on this. I would stay away from this. Because one, real estate people know real estate, so they don't really need your help. And then the fact that the government's not paying a commission makes it even more complex, because now you've got people that are, real estate people are not the sharpest tools in the shed. So you've got somebody who's already, you're getting a complex situation to people that are typically not used to dealing with complex situations. They've got a standard that they follow, and that's what they know. So you're taking something that is typically not complex and making it complex, and then you're trying to interject yourself in between. They can't pay the commission, then how are you supposed to get paid? You don't even know.
I don't know. That's why I'm here asking the question.
Yeah. So again, this is not traditional real estate, and so now you're taking something that's non-traditional, and then you're adding some complex issues on top. Just it's a really messed up situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'd run. There's a lot easier things out here to do than that. You pick something very complex.
Well, I'm trying to learn the real estate space because I see a lot of leases that go unresponded, or as far as I know, they don't publish what happens if they do end up awarding it somewhere. And it just seems like untapped.
Maybe, but because you're an intermediary on this, then you're always going to be dealing with brokers. And then the challenge with real estate is the person that you're dealing with works for a real estate company. So you have the seller wants their money, the real estate agent wants his money, the real estate broker wants their money, and then the listing side has the same two people that want their money. You got 5 people with their hands in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then you like 6.
Right.
He said, right.
I mean, I understand that, but I went directly to the broker. But again, I'm dealing with people who don't understand it, and I don't understand it. So
that's why you should run.
But it's still a thing I want to learn whether I do this one or not. So that's why I'm asking the question.
I can't solve for this because you got 6 people that need money and the government says they're not giving any money.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I mean, unless you're gonna write them a check, somebody got to write somebody a check. I'm telling you, real estate people, like somebody's got to cut checks. None of these people are working for free. And so if the government ain't paying, who's paying? Like this is where we said, again, going back to the topic, how do people lose in situations? Well, you got a contract where the government doesn't want to pay anybody, and you got 6 people that want to get paid. So you're trying to make this ain't even a round peg in a square hole. This is like a brick inside of a box. Like it ain't happening. And I mean, there's just too many more easier things to do than this. This is way too complex, you know. I don't know why you insisted on picking real estate.
Just did it. It's not an insistence, it's just a learning area.
Sure, but why real estate?
I don't have a why not.
Because
it's just what interests me.
Because if you see a situation where the government doesn't want to pay out fees to people to do it, then you will never make money in this. So that's
this is the first one where I've seen that line. It's not the first one I've read through. It's just the first one I've seen that line. And so it's just the one that I'm currently asking questions about. That's not to say that there aren't others that are sitting in front of me. It's just the one that I'm asking the question about. But you gave your opinion, don't do it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's good the fact that this is the only one that you've seen that way. So that goes to your credit of like they're not all this way.
They're not all this way.
And so that's good. But that's easy. And this for me, again, when all of us make decisions, right? And we teach people this all the time. We have what's called bid, no bid, right? And so this would fall into my no bid situation. So we have a series of steps that we go through to make a determination whether we're going to pursue an opportunity. And that's another area where small businesses fail is they don't do bid, no bids. So they end up wasting a lot of their time because they didn't actually analyze to see if in fact this is something that we can do or this is something that makes sense. So right on topic, this is a situation where if you had done a bid, no bid, right? Because this is big companies do this. They go through and look at all the requirements and they go, okay, yeah, this is a no bid because these reasons. Then you could have already moved on and spent your time and energy on one of the ones that are not like this to try to bring it to get closer to actually closing the deal, rather than trying to make this one work when the government's clearly not interested in paying a commission. And so, yes, there are people here offering a lot of different solutions, which again,
I can't see.
Oh, you can't see them?
No.
Okay, here, like, you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so people are saying this kind of stuff, which I have those same ideas, right? But the problem is, all of these are workarounds. So to try to explain these things, they're much more complex, and they're also like someone said, you've got to have a relationship with the attorneys to be able to get them to do these kind of things. And so that it just, to me, it's too many hoops to jump over and hurdles, right? If you were the realtor, you could definitely pull it off.
Right.
You know, because then you could go back to the attorneys and you could say, hey, let's do it this way. And then don't worry about them paying a commission because we can put the money over here. But since you're not, that's why it's for you in your situation, I said I would, I would pass on this one. So give me an easy one. Actually, this is good learning for everybody listening. So first of all, I thank you for your bravery, because most people are always like, they're afraid to come up here. So I do thank you for that. But yeah, I've never heard of that before. But it did get me to talk about bid, no bid. So that was important. So, so yeah, I would do that. And we have, if you haven't seen it, definitely look at that bid, no bid sheet. I'll try to pull it up, or Colin might try to pull it while we're talking, and we could talk about it on this call with folks, because that's something that we use in all of our, before we do anything, we use bid, no bid. So. Right.
Yeah, I was just looking at that in the
You saw it?
Okay, it's open, the Govcon course.
Okay, nice.
I've learned, I said it in the chat, I've learned that you can't force certain situations to happen as much as you want them. And I've learned that in life, and I learned that in GovCon. So sometimes you just have to let them.
Yeah, under bid, no bid framework, though, there's nothing there. I mean, the rest of the course is there, but that particular tab, there's nothing there.
There's no document in it?
No.
Eric, I'll try to find it.
I'm looking right now too.
I know we've had it. I mean, maybe it's not there.
It could be in a different section.
Yeah, it is. You can't see that. Okay. All right, we'll find
it. A lot of sections.
No.
If we all, yeah.
I agree with you. I promise you. Listen, tell them it's a lot of sections, right?
Yeah, and I finished 2.0, and then it, wherever I left off, it doesn't, your new revamp deleted all that, so I had to start from zero.
I found it in resources.
It's in resources. Okay, pull it up, Maria.
I am. Bridget, do you have the YouTube on the background, because we hear an echo?
No, but I'm not on headphones or anything. I'm on my computer.
I'm not on headphones either, but we do hear an echo.
Either.
All right, pull it up.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Present. Share screen. Let's try this guy. Oh.
All right. Colin, what's up, brother?
There you go. You see it?
Hold on. There you go. Boom. All right. There it is. So this is what I forgot who provided this to me. One of my podcast guests. But this is what we use when, again, helping you to make a determination before you go down the rabbit hole and you spend a lot of time because time is money, and I want everyone to understand that. So I don't bid everything. Just you can't. Like, you can't afford to bid everything. I bid opportunities where we have a high probability of winning. That's the name of the game. Because if you bid everything, right, and then you win, you're happy you won. But if you factor in all the time that you spent bidding all these other projects, then what happens is you really didn't make any money. So even if you made whatever $10,000, but you took 20 bids to win one contract to make 10 grand. Well, those other 19 bids cost you that $10,000 that you think you made. So to avoid that trap, we use this bid no bid decision framework to actually go through and see and the rating score to see how we rate and whether or not we should pursue it. And so this is an example. We're not going to go through it. I just want to share that on the screen for people to see. But this is what we do on all of our opportunities. And so we get to the point now where we pretty much know it. So we know what it is. I don't have to refer to that framework anymore. But that's what we go through. That's the process that we go through to do it. So, all right.
And for a lot of us, I think when we're starting out, we want a contract so bad. We want it so bad, whether it is, and we think about it, and in the back of our heads, we know it's not right. We could go through this worksheet. This worksheet could tell us, Eric could tell us, so many people could tell us. But at the end of the day, it's like we want it so bad, we don't care. We're going to make it work. Like your little square peg thing, we're going to make it work. And that's how we end up getting into trouble. Because I've seen a few of them, especially right now, the subs. It's like they knew it's not going to work, but they wanted it's for past performance, Maria. I don't care if I make 0. Well, I'm pretty sure you're at the negative now, and you're learning lots more than just past performance.
Right.
So letting go is.
Yeah, we don't. I think as small business owners, we don't value our time enough, and I think we've got to respect our time and value our time. Time is our only non-renewable resource. Everything else we can replenish, but time we can't. And so, hell, even if you stop smoking cigarettes, you'll get back some of your health, but time you can't get back. So for me, I think that again, on sticking with today's topic, a big thing that a lot of us forget about is, look, my time is valuable, and I honestly just, we don't have a time to chase every opportunity, and that's why I tell people to focus and on a specific marketplace, because if you choose real estate, you will know everything about real estate. You'll know every one of the buyers. You'll know every one of the decision makers, and then ideally, Bridget, what I would want for you is the government to be calling you about these opportunities before they go on the street, because now you're the preferred real estate expert, right? But that would require you, like, what I'm saying, like learning it and studying it and just focusing in on that area, if that's, truly what you want to do. I'm not saying that, but since you said you pick real estate, you can do real estate. Look, in South Florida, one of the most successful 8A contractors when I was in the program with my buddies was a real estate company. Now, it happened to be right after the real estate crash in 2008. And so, but because he was in that marketplace, they actually got the contract with the government to manage all the properties for the government when they took back all the foreclosures. So so I don't say that the market is bad. This particular opportunity just doesn't fit. And so I tell everyone this: it doesn't matter what market you choose, become the expert at that market, right? Become proficient at that. And then let the people who are the decision makers know that you truly are the expert in that particular marketplace. And so you can start solving for some of their issues. So for example, if they already knew you and they had already relationships with you, then you could have said to them, hey, this requirement is prohibitive from actually getting what you guys want, because you're saying that you don't pay a commission, but the real estate market works by paying commissions. So you can't put that kind of clause in your contract and expect to get people running and jumping at the bit. So you're actually hurting yourself by putting a clause in the agreement that works against traditional industry standards and policies and procedures. But that only comes after you've developed a rapport with the entities.
Okay.
And so those are the kind of things that I do.
Because that's kind of what the owner of the company, well, the broker, he went back and emailed the point of contact to say that directly.
Sure.
But the point of contact is non-responsive.
But he's trying to do it after that.
Right.
So again, what I'm saying is, if you had done that beforehand, before the solicitation came out in the RFI stage, you'd have a lot more leverage because you're helping them shape the requirements at that time. Trying to get anybody to do anything after it's already solicited would essentially what that happens is, one, they can't do that because now they would be giving you an unfair advantage over everybody else. So they can't go back and make changes to a solicitation that's being publicly solicited without basically retracting it and putting it back out on the marketplace. So, there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He's just doing it at the wrong time, unfortunately. So you got to do that in the pre-contract solicitation phase, right? Even in pre-solicitation or market research, he could have done that. So that's where you could have came in. And if real estate was your swim lane and you already knew the relationship people, you could have done that. And now you could have steered it towards whoever you wanted. Because you already knew about the opportunity before it came out.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you for coming up. I love it. Hopefully we'll see you in Tuesday calls.
Yes, I'm gonna add it to my schedule.
Thank you. At least the ones that I'm teaching.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The second Tuesday is for advanced students, and you get him.
And you're gonna get this kind of love on you. You know I'm gonna love on y'all hard.
Tough love.
You get tough love.
I'll see y'all there.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. All right, let's bring somebody else up. Real quick before we jump into this came out today or yesterday, and I want to share this with folks because again, the government does a really bad job of advertising their opportunities. This is a STEM Stint Challenge that came out with the EDA. It's $4.5 million grant. You could apply up to $500,000. 24-month program. There is a 1-to-1 funding match. And again, so anybody has any type of STEM talent training systems that they want to do, this is something that came out just recently. So I did want to share that with folks out here. Trucking 101, what's up?
Hi, it's actually 1011 trucking.
I know, I saw it afterwards, but 101, you know. But I like 1011.
Good. Yeah, 1011. My name is Erica.
Hey, Erica.
It's a pleasure to be on the call. I've been following you for a while.
Thank you. Well, you got two other hitters up here. You got myself, Maria, and Colin. So you know what we're getting into tonight.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for having me. So I recently purchased your book. I just haven't been home to get it. My apologies for not showing my face. I'm behind the wheel right now in my commercial vehicle.
Okay.
So I can't really show my face at the moment, but I kind of just wanted to ask a couple of questions.
One second.
Okay, sure.
Colin, can you introduce yourself for people who don't know you, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Colin Chaco. I've been with Govcon now since the beginning, and I'm in DC. I do marketing, branding, and online training for federal and state, and also, helping Eric and Maria with coaching all y'all good folks.
There you go. So, so we're happy to have Colin up here. And again, one of the things that all of you out here are listening, for me, my hopes is that all of you, particularly those who've signed up in our programs, eventually become teachers and coaches and give back to the community and then give back to small businesses as a whole, right? We're not doing this for our health, for our well-being. We're doing this to make a difference, to make an impact. And so the goal is for all of you to become Collins of the world, to become Marias, and all of you to become future leaders. So we're looking forward to you guys taking the information, implementing it, executing, making money, and then coming back and teaching what you know so that you can help the next person that's coming behind you. So that's the goal for everyone out there. I want to see all of you speaking at events. I want to see all of you on panels. I want to see all of you moderating panels of conferences with leaders of the communities, leaders of these agencies, side by side, And we want you to be able to do that because why? That's going to make you stand out. And now you're going to be the authority figure, much like the 3 people on the panel that's joining me tonight. So that's what I want for you. That's what I hope for everyone out there. And hit the like button because that's the only way I get paid from this. Sorry, Trucking 1011. Erica, I got you.
1011 Trucking. 1011.
Hey.
Yeah, perfect. So that's right up my alley. I love that you said that because I would absolutely aspire to do that in the future. So thank you for saying that those types of opportunities are available through your community.
Absolutely.
All right, so I am registered on SAM. I've been registered now for, this is probably going on my 2nd year.
Okay.
I have my WASB application pending.
Okay.
I have a company working on our DBE certification for the state of Georgia. I have your book. I'm online watching videos. Here's my challenge. I do not know how to navigate the waters of government contracting. I log on, I search after, watching you guys' videos and things like that and other creators. I go on and I'm like, this looks like Greek, Chinese, and any other language I'm not familiar with. And I guess my biggest question is, I love how you guys talk about going after the low hanging fruit. And so that was the strategy initially, which was, let me go after a water contract or a paper contract or something like that, just so I can get myself familiar with how to operate in the government space or government contracting space. My challenge, though, with that is my company name is 1011 Trucking. So will that be a hindrance if I go after some of the low-hanging fruit?
Colin, you want to take this? Who wants to take it?
I'll take it. It depends what industry you're targeting. So right now you're in trucking, right?
Yes.
So ideally you want to go after any type of solicitation or anything like that that's directly tied to your actual skill set, which is trucking. Now, if you decide to do another NAICS code, that's fine. But I usually recommend you stick with what you know. That's another reason why, and staying on topic with why do most companies fail? People go outside their NAICS codes, or they choose NAICS codes that they're not 100% familiar with. It's okay to get into that, but get into that once you have not only mastered your own NAICS code, you built up your financial revenue stream for your NAICS code, and then you can use that revenue stream to jump into another NAICS code. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Can I answer your question?
It does in part, but what if the skill set is broader than just trucking? I mean, I'm just 4 years into trucking. My husband and I partnered together. And obviously we definitely have some other skill sets outside of the realm of transportation and logistics.
Okay.
And so
which skill set is earning you money right now?
a couple of them.
Which one is the higher revenue generator?
The higher revenue at this moment would be the trucking.
And which would be your secondary?
I would say insurance.
Okay. Now, your trucking revenue, is it more than half of your insurance, or what are the numbers?
Yes.
Give me percentages. We go deep in these conversations.
Yeah, so it's probably 90% more than what it would be generating on the insurance side or the coaching side, to be honest.
Okay, so insurance and coaching, those are the 2 other industries you're dealing with, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you put those 2 together. Let's say you put trucking to the side. Will coaching insurance, will that feed the family?
Not now, but it could.
Yeah, but we're not operating off
I guess, I guess that's where my question was more specific, in that you guys mentioned just to cut your teeth with government contracting to go after some of the lower hanging fruits.
Yes. So the low hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is your your primary NAICS code now, the one skill that you are really good at is trucking, correct? So why not use
as far
that?
as NAICS code, yes.
No, I'm talking about core skill, man. Right now, you're driving a truck, correct?
Right, but I mean, I have 30 years experience in leadership and management and all that other kind of stuff. This is just something we ended up falling into that ended up turning out really, really well for us. And so
Okay,
we
so let me
shifted.
reframe the question, then, ma'am. Let me
Okay.
reframe the question, because maybe I
And you
wasn't.
can call me Erica. That's fine.
Erica, okay, Erica. Let me reframe the question. What is your primary NAICS code that you would like to offer the federal government?
Ultimately, it would be transportation and logistics.
Which is trucking, right? So wouldn't that be better to cut your teeth with low-hanging fruit with trucking and logistics and transportation, just like you just said?
I don't believe there are, based on what I've seen online as far as these videos are concerned. So I guess that's the reason I framed the question that way.
What have you seen that you said that's different?
No, not that it's different. It's just that the focus initially was, hey, don't necessarily go after the RFPs and the full-blown responses. Go after some of the low-hanging fruit, like water contracts and things like that. So that's the reason I asked the question that way, just based on the content that I've seen previously.
That's okay.
A lot of people think low-hanging fruit of the smaller product contracts, and a lot of people would tell you, oh, those are found in first. A lot of people think low-hanging fruit that they're just given to you, and that's not true. If those are the relationships you make for them to be given to you, in order for you to find them, you're going to go through Unison. Unison is the most competitive thing you can find, even though it's like things like packets of water or like pencils, whatever product it is, it's going to be so competitive that you could put it under trucking. And your original question is like, is my name going to be a hinder? Probably yes, because if I am needing water and I see trucking, I'm gonna be like, what does a trucking person know about water to start with? But second, if you make it past that initial just go without the name kind of thing, it's going to be like you're competing among so many other people because these are things that everyone could get. So think about it that way. It's like, yeah, things are easier to get, but how many more people are you competing against? And now with the trucking thing, what Colin was saying is, have you tried subbing instead of being a prime? Look for those prime contractors that have bigger contracts and say, hey, I have this many trucks or I have this available. Do you have any subbing opportunities? And that will be your way in as well, instead of trying to figure things out.
So, right. And so just to be clear, I just want to clarify a little bit. So I'm not going in looking for the prime opportunities. I'm just looking for a way in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So let me jump in here. So typically low-hanging fruit contracts are like simplified acquisition, SAP under 250. It's not specific to a category or industry sector. So every industry has low-hanging fruit contracts in it, which includes trucking.
Okay.
So I think that and this happens to me all the time. So I'm much more familiar than Maria or Colin in this arena, where people will watch my content and mix it with other people's content, and then they'll get confused and say, well, you said, no, I didn't say that. I said, so for me, again, low-hanging fruit is what we call SAP, simplified acquisition, under the micro purchase threshold, under 250, right? So that's low-hanging fruit for us, my definition. Right. Okay, but you don't have to switch industries to pursue low-hanging fruit. So whatever industry you choose, there's low-hanging fruit contracts. What we recommend, similar to what we recommend to Bridget that was on the last stage, is just pick an area to focus on so that you can become the expert and the government people know that you're the authority figure. In order to get those calls for low-hanging fruit contracts, you've got to become the authority in that space. And how do you do that? Well, identifying your target market, going deep, not wide. And so now when you go deep and you say, okay, trucking, logistics, these are my 22 agencies. You're making relationships. Like I told you, I was on the phone with DOE yesterday, NIH today. They know me on a first name basis. I call them on their cell phone numbers. When you get to that level, then that's when people start calling you with low-hanging fruit contracts. But you can't do that if you're chasing multiple industry, multiple sectors, multiple space. So we're not here to tell anybody what area to choose. We are here to say, and again, to Colin's credit, he was saying just focus on the area where you're the strongest at, because you really do have much more recent and relevant past performance and experience to basically lend credibility to the government agencies, because they are risk averse. Does that make sense?
Perfect. It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And that kind of was what I was looking for.
Okay.
Trying to navigate that water. Like, no, I don't want to go after a water contract because it's not going to make sense when they look at my company.
Right.
As you guys stated before. So, and you had mentioned a marijuana transport contract when you were searching opportunities, but that solicitation was so complex. We're not there yet.
There you go. So that would not be low-hanging fruit. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So I appreciate your response, Colin, Maria, Eric. Thank you so much. That makes
I thank you for coming up. I love it. I love the engagement. We appreciate you. Be safe out there. Now we know.
Thank you.
10-11 trucking, everyone.
10-11 trucking.
He got it. He got it.
I got it. 4 tries later. I got
you.
Thank you. Thanks, Erica.
Thank you.
Be good. All right.
With
Laurence.
With what we're talking about before we keep going, Eric is big on naming your company, and especially for all those starting out, make it very, very broad, because like he said, he had a contract being protested because they said air conditioning and they were doing painting. So things like that could happen. Like mine, we thought about it and we ended up with MJ Global. Under MJ Global, I've done construction, I've done painting, I've actually done education. I've done so many things under that one, because when you hear MJ Global, I do it all. You don't know but I have my capability statement for each of my different NAICS code and areas.
Yes. And so someone's asking on here, for example, I saw a question about, what was it? Finance Today says, would you recommend building a website for business after registering with SAM? So again, that's a question that we talk about in free govconcourse.com. It is free. Please just go through it. We answer some of those really fundamental basic questions. I just encourage people, use the resources, right? I didn't build all this stuff for my health. I built it so that you can have resources over and above, beyond me coming on live sessions. So take advantage of that resource. The quick answer is no, you should not build a website after registering with SAM, is the way I think about it. But again, go through there, start with the free stuff, start with our free content, and that'll help you go really, really far. All right? I just want to say that. So with that, Laurence.
Hello. Hey, how you doing? How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, so my initial question that I had was based on the not the lady who just spoke, but the previous lady regarding real estate. You had mentioned it's not about real estate, but it was about you were telling her, you know, why try to do that very difficult, complex transaction, and you want to try to find something that's easier. At least that's the gist of what I got from that. And I wanted to say that up front because it give you just a small bit of background. I'm not in government. I'm not in the government space. I am interested. I currently work in oil and gas out in West Texas. And so as I'm listening to the conversations, I started to ask myself, I said, well, okay, how does one, and I think you already really began to answer this question with the last person you spoke to, the lady that's in trucking. But how does one really find, I guess, their space or their niche when it comes to thinking about entering the government space? Where do you start? And you know, maybe it's real simple. You just mentioned the free Govcon course. Maybe that's it. And again, I'm very new to everyone. I can see by your responses, your faces, that yeah, that might be the way to go. So, but that's
always,
my.
You know, I mean, that's why we make this, right? So, you know, again, people. people somehow think that all of us YouTubers and course creators are all made equal, and we're not, right? I give way more value than I take from people. Normally, people don't pay me until after 3 years of watching me. And so really, I've got 1,000 videos online, lots of content for people to absorb, to the point where people say it's too much content. I don't feel bad because I'm in all the videos. So you're not going to get no crocodile tears out of me. But yeah, the free Govcon course is definitely the first place to start for everyone out here, because it's literally, I think it's 18 videos, and it goes through things like, that we talk about, questions that people have on here in terms of, like Robert says, right? It takes all the free resources, it walks you through beginning steps, so at least your business is set up right. And it will get you through SAM registration. So, I mean, I take you literally through your registration process. And then after that is when you come to a more advanced level. So, but go ahead, Colin, if you want to take this. I like Colin starts off first.
All right, Laurence, let me ask you, what do you actually like doing? Because my stance is this: if you're going to sell to the government, make sure you're passionate about what you're selling, or the service you're providing, or the product you're what do you actually want to do besides making money? That's everyone's passion here, is making money. So what do you actually want to do?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't have a great answer though. So what I do, I think that was one of your questions. In oil and gas, I work in fracking, so I'm an equipment operator. So I'm not a business owner. I'm an employee of a company there. And so I do really love the work that I do. And I look around and, I probably, like many people in their industries, you see all the various businesses and how they kind of interact and work with each other. And I began to think to myself, what are some business opportunities and how may the government fit in this space? Personally, from what I see with the work I do, it's really a lot of private businesses. So I'm not even sure where the government fits in there. I'm sure with a segment as large as oil and gas, there's something that they do. So I have to do the discovery because I'm a frac operator to find out where is that connection between the work I do and the government, if there is a connection there in the first place. I hope I answered your question, but if I didn't, let me know.
So let me ask you this: what difference does it make? Why do you even want to be a business owner?
So it's something I've always wanted to do. Growing up, watching my grandfather, he was a business owner. Actually, he was in trucking. And so just watching that model of him having his own business, that business, fed and took care of the family of a couple of generations. And so that's the basis of it. I've always been interested in business. I did have a business in the past. It was property preservation. Did that. That was about 3 years ago. And during the pandemic, kind of, like a lot of businesses, things kind of went south. I had to go back out there, beat the streets, get a job. And here I am in oil and gas, which is an industry which I had no clue about, kind of stumbled upon it. Wish I knew about it much earlier. But here I am today.
Maria, and I'm going to, I'll have Maria take this one because, I'm in the camp nowadays that everyone necessarily doesn't have to be business owners. So I'll let Maria talk about that.
I have found, and I say it to myself, not all of us are meant to have our own business. It's a lot. And I admire all the work it takes and all the time it takes, but it's not for everyone. And you know what? It's okay. It is totally okay. There's so many other paths that you could take that to get into government contracting that is not just being a business owner. One thing that I've learned is, Eric mentioned government needs people right now. GSA came to me asking me if I wanted a job with them. And it starts off at like 90 grand. That's one path. You could work like a government contract specialist or there's so many jobs that out there. I hear me.
Laurence, you got your YouTube in the background or something? Somebody's got in the background.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a call coming through. I got rid of it.
Okay, so that is one path that you could take. The other thing is right now I work for a company as well. I'm a project manager and all they do is federal contracting. I'm just overseeing the projects, making sure everything's flowing, make sure their schedules. I'm the face that they see. So there's a lot of money also in doing that. You're still in the GovCon world. You're still doing what you like and you're still immersed in it. That if you were to think farther into the future, maybe that is what you want to do. Hey, you're getting the experience through it. So you have that. You also could be a consultant, which takes you into a different path as well. As you find a company that's already established, has the money, has the people, you're finding them the opportunities and bringing it to them. Business development. If you learn how to do that research that Eric talks about, that capture management, you can make 6 figures easily doing that for a bigger company. So we think like in order to do this, we have to be a prime. We have to have our own business. And you do not. If you are not the leader, if you're not going to put in 90 hours a week, if you're not going to wake up at 3 a.m. to work and read and learn and stay up, like your family's going to miss. If you want family time, don't get your own business. He will not be there every day to say good morning and good night. It's not going to happen.
Well, Colin, I want Colin now. Let's let Colin chime in on this.
Yo, okay. So here's my take on that, right? And yeah, Maria's right. It's not meant for everybody, right? However, this is my take on it. Why work for somebody else? Why put 40 hours into somebody else's dream when you can put 40 hours into your own dream? That's kind of how I look at it, right? Because you're kind of betting on yourself. Now, even if, and again, this is just my opinion, doesn't reflect those little things that people, anyway. So, sure. But I'm all about building your own dream. My dad he had his own engineering business for 35 years in Cameroon. That's where we're from originally. My grandfather had his business for like 60 years. He probably should have been, should have let it go. But my granddad loved to work. So I come from and my great grandfather, same thing. We come from a long line of entrepreneurs, and so for me, I was raised to bet on myself. Of course, out of college, you work for somebody else, but just to get the experience, but then you get out there and do your own thing. And, getting fired helps, so that, and again, the GovCon journey depends. You could be consultant, sub, or prime. My goal, was to be a prime, and that's what I did. Because with the prime, one, you really control your schedule. As a sub, you're kind of beholden to a prime. As a consultant, you're working, but it's still not yours. Like you're not controlling your time. In my opinion, the real control of your time is as a prime. That's just my opinion. That's how I look at it. Because I could fly anywhere now, not have to worry about somebody clocking me. So kind of like that. But it really depends on what you want to do and what you want your future to look like. Whichever path you decide to take, you really got to think about that. In the course, there's one of the I don't know if you heard, it's in the course, but also in the videos. Eric talks about your plan. He don't say that for no reason. What's your 1-year plan, your 3-year plan, 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? And you work backwards. You know what I mean? So, because in this game, it's all about relationships. That's it. You build that up, you keep it moving. When Eric talks about, I have people on speed dial, is because it took a while to do it, but it is achievable. You just got to figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, with both points, I think a lot of times what I've seen over the last, again, 5 years teaching this online, is a lot of people came into the space wanting to learn government contracting, to be a prime contractor. And then, when we asked them tough questions, people really didn't want to put in the work, and they really didn't want to, again, you got to be willing to do the hard things, right? So as a leader, right, you've got to do the hard things in the beginning. And then even as you build up your team, right, you got to make tough decisions, like when to fire people, right? You got to go through lawsuits and litigation. You got to risk your money. Again, I was just on the phone with this gentleman today, and he actually financed to take a mortgage out against his house to go out through contracts, and then when it didn't work out, he lost his house. And so those are things that, right, you sacrifice a whole lot. And so I'm in the camp with the Maria camp where maybe it's not for everyone. I personally, because I've been on this path and this entrepreneur journey since early on in college, I've always lived below my means, right? And so I had friends of mine that had nicer cars and nicer places, but they were to me, they were in a rat race, right? Having to go to a job every day and having to clock in, and they were complaining about being unhappy at work while I was jet setting around the country. So, a lot of times, a lot of things that I've had to afford to do, they couldn't do because of their jobs, not because they didn't have the money, because they didn't have the time. So I think it goes both ways with the time situation, Maria, because I got friends that are doctors and friends that are also finance guys, and they work just as hard as entrepreneurs. But Laurence, it's just something to think about, right? We can't tell you what area to go after because that's something that you've got to do. But in the free course, I'm going to say this again, we do have an exercise where we go through, like, what are you good at? What does your family think about? Like these different exercises where you have an intersection of your skills and an intersection of the things that you do and the things that you know. And then you can choose from there. But the flip side of that, and I know this is super confusing because it sounds confusing even saying it, I like people to do things that they know the least about. And again, my perspective, because when you know a lot about a subject, you tend to work in the business and not on the business. And we as minorities and disenfranchised people, right, we're going to stunt our own growth by working in the business as operators, right? So again, if you look up the book E-Myth Revisited, it talks about that we all get stuck in the operator mode. And that's why only 4% of businesses ever get past $1 million in sales. Because we as small businesses and minorities and disenfranchised folks, people of color, whatever the hell you want to call us, we tend to be at the lower end of the spectrum of businesses because we never learn how to build a business, hire people, manage people, and grow. And we got stuck in, I know this work, and so I'm an operator. And like people, and no knock on any truckers out here who are driving trucks, but if you've seen a difference between a guy who owns 25 trucks and the one-man owner operator who's sitting behind a truck. So that's a fundamental difference. And so when you choose an area, if you don't know the area, like I went into steel buildings, I didn't know nothing about steel buildings. I personally had to go hire the best people and learn from the best people, and then they did it for me. So I learned management skills. I learned how to grow a business and be a leader. Those are the traits that I learned. I was able to build up a multi-million-dollar business that way because I knew nothing about the actual work, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise. So sometimes it's better to be ignorant. I say ignorant is bliss. And so again, you'll find that show me an owner that knows how to do the work that's not doing the work, and I'll prove you wrong.
Eric, okay. Let me talk on the other side of that fence. Okay, so yes, do I know my work very well? Yes. Do I like doing it? No. But this comes back to scaling beyond yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I know enough to know not to be, if someone says, hey, because let's say I divvy out the work to my team, I already know what they're going to do. They know what they have to do. You know what I mean? But do I want to do all the work myself? No, because part of this process in running a business is I hire people who are way better than me. You know what I mean? Because that way I don't have to talk. And I only hire people who are at a higher skill level. Because I don't like project management. I do not like micromanaging anything like that. That's one thing I learned in this course. Even knowing Eric, you always want to hire somebody who's way better than you. Right. Because at the end of the day, my job is the business development while everyone else on the team does the work. That's it.
But that takes
that's the other side of that fence.
Colin, that takes courage.
Yeah, okay. Eric, why are you going down another rabbit hole? I see.
I'm not. I'm saying, Colin. The thing is, I'm just speaking to the people. When you say these things, and again, me, I'm on your side. But people they're fearful. They're afraid to hire someone better than them because they think that person's going to take their job or they're going to go get the contract. And So you get me? So I'm just giving a perspective. It takes courage to do what you did.
No, you're right, Eric. But here's the thing about that, right? Taking your job, you can never fire the boss if you're the boss, right? And not only that, and because I'll touch on that, Eric. Afraid of someone taking a contract, right? Sure. If you build their relationship like super airtight with the CO, that will never happen because they don't know the other person. And right. Like Eric said earlier, I got people on speed dial. You think I can go take some of his people? No, because he's built that. Right. So that's an ironclad way of not, But Eric, I see what you're saying though. I do agree with you. That is
told me. Look, I'm trying to get my internal team to reach out to people bigger than themselves, and they have a hard time because they feel like they have imposter syndrome, and a lot of people do have that. Hey, wait, Colin, I don't know nothing about doing graphics, right? But I got to hire this best graphics guy, this best website in the world. He's going to do the work, and then I'm going to make all the big money, and he's not going to try to steal it from me. That's people's attitude. That's their mentality.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right about that. We're looking to change it, though. We're working to change it.
We're working to change it, and so this is healthy dialogue, but I'm just being frank with people out there. So, but we've got a couple people waiting. I saw one already dropped off. So Laurence, I hope that we helped you, brother, a little bit at least. You gave us a lot to talk about, so that was great.
Yeah, you really did, all three of you. I appreciate the feedback. I'll have to go back and read my E-Myth Revisited. I do have that book. I have to read that again.
Free course.
Take the free course, right? Maria, I worked those crazy hours today already, so I'm not scared of the hours. And I do hear both of you, well, all three of you, when it comes to understanding, you want to be able to not work if I go the route of business owner, not be working in the business as an operator, because that was a mistake I made in property preservation. I've seen many other people make that mistake as well. So you've given me a lot to think about. I'll start with the course, and thank you so much.
No problem, brother. Thank you. Thanks,
okay,
Laurence.
Bye.
Bye now. All right. Black Enigma, full ED. Let's go.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, so my question was, the problem I'm having is finding the right bids that fit my consulting services. So I've been like deep diving for a long time, which is probably for like the last year, reaching out to OSDBUs, the local PTACs, going through all of the forecasting, and it's like I'm putting in bids, but nobody is responding. So I'm not sure if it's like, is it something that I'm doing wrong?
So everything that you're saying is none of this stuff is kind of congruent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't understand, bro. Can you repeat that?
What you're saying is very confusing to all of us because none of it is systematic.
Tracking. Okay, so whenever I reach out to the OSDBUs on future opportunities, it's like they kind of give me the runaround. Like, and then they'll send me links to stuff that I've already told them that I have.
Okay, but you know that you didn't tell us what you do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just jumped right into it.
So guess what? So I'm gonna stop you right now. This is a mistake. So if you do that to OSDBU, that's why they send you links to stuff you already have. You see,
makes sense.
Practice makes perfect. So the same way that you came on here, you didn't tell anybody anything that you do, right? So how is it now? We're here to to talk to you, but you came out here, you didn't say, hey, I do blah 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 blah. You said I did this and that. I don't get no help. So
Roger, that's my mistake. So so Black Enigma is a consulting firm that delivers a range of consulting services such as administrative management, marketing consulting, and logistics management.
Okay.
So I've been in the field of like looking in those areas, but maybe my approach is wrong.
I'm sorry. In what industry?
Consulting.
No, what specific industry? What sector? Is it transportation, IT?
Oh no, it was logistics,
Okay,
supply chain management.
thank you. Okay, that's what we need to know. Okay, supply chain. Okay, please continue.
Okay, so yeah, a little nervous right now, but so I guess I'm kind of confused on the process. Like, because my business doesn't have, I've only been in business for roughly a year or so, so I really don't have past performance. So I don't know if that's something that they look at, like, why would this person be it and they don't have past performance. So I've tried to like partner with subcontractors that are in on logistics bids, but they don't really respond.
So when you send out your inquiries, how exactly do you word it? Because you said supply chain, but you didn't dive into that. That could mean anything.
But wait, let's go back a step, Colin.
Yeah. Okay.
He said he's calling Ostaboo's. What Ostaboo's?
So I was legit all over the place. I started with the
There you
I
go.
started I started with doing this stuff at the state level. I applied as a vendor and tried to like understand initially on what was going on, like what a bid was and how it like watching your videos, trying to really understand like what a bid is, how to write the RFPs, how to understand like the lingo. And then I started reaching out to like Department of Agriculture. I seen that they had bids in the 541, 614 NAICS codes. And so I would try to say, I can't really say what it's all in email, so I really can't pitch out what I say verbatim, but it's something along the lines of, I've seen that you guys were 0.40% last year with your goals in reaching the target market for SDVOSB, the SDVOSB goals. It was 3%. You guys were at 0.40. I would love to assist you in helping you reach that goal or something along the lines of that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm the normal brain out of us three. I have no clue what you do still. Okay, you have a new business, you set up your business. It's Black Enigma. What services are you providing the government or trying to provide the government?
So under the logistics management, we supply productivity improvement, inventory management, production management and control, lean initiatives, and supply chain operations.
Does the government buy lean initiatives and supply chain?
They're mostly into like the Lean Six Sigma. It's very small. It's a small window.
Have you identified which agencies buy exactly what you're selling?
Yes.
And how much have they purchased dollar-wise over the last 5 years? Have you done that data research?
No, I haven't.
So how are you determining? Because the pitch that you just told me was a certification pitch. You said, "Hey, government, you didn't meet your goals. I want to help you meet your goals." That's what you said.
Uh-huh.
What if I don't buy what you sell? How are you going to help me reach my goals?
So in the email, I did specifically put like reaching your goals in the areas of, and I put my NAICS code. I don't know if that made a difference.
So again, when you're talking to them and you're saying these are the areas I want to help you reach your goals in, how do you know that they buy that service?
Well, I'm not sure.
Right. That's the challenge. So what we say is let the market research determine your activities. So you have to first go back and make sure that the people that you're reaching out to even buy what you're trying to sell them. And again, on topic with today's theme, this is where so many small businesses make mistakes because they're trying to sell government agencies things that they don't necessarily buy. And if you can't articulate that to the government, they're going to just be courteous and respectful to you and not very helpful. And that's what you're finding. So you need to go back and figure out, based on your SIC codes, your PSC codes, your NAIC codes, which agencies are buying that particular areas that you want to concentrate in, and then only talk to those people, not anyone else.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the challenge you're having. And again, I like to say, go deep, not wide. So again, the government people are just they're nice. They're trying to be courteous, but they can't help you more than that, right? Because you're trying to sell things to people who don't know anything about this stuff. But when you finally do reach a government entity that knows exactly what you're selling, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, so happy to hear from you.
Makes sense. I think for me, I kind of like what Maria said earlier. I was so caught up on trying to get a win that I was just scavenging, trying to find the best opportunity.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone through a capability briefing?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And have you do you know how to ask questions? Because a lot of that comes down to what the research you do based off of forecast lists and very specific questions you ask the OSTBU for them to actually be interested. Because like Eric said, they're just going to pass you up. They're not going to, and they're very nice about it too. You just won't see it coming.
Roger. Based on this call, I'm not asking the right questions.
One thing that I learned early on was it's also your approach. If you go up to them either at an event or in a phone call or when you're actually speaking to them, if you go up to them and speak like a beginner, they're going to treat you like a beginner. And the perfect example is I went to a NASA industry day. I went with my client. He went up to the OSTBU that was there and introduced himself, said who he was, whatever. And she handed him a piece of paper. This is our forecast list set up, and you have to register in SAM. And that's what you kept hearing. Register in SAM, go on the website. When I went up to same person, same event, same company, by the way, I went up to them and introduced myself and talked about what forecast list, what project we were interested in, what are we specialized in, who we are. Like she handed me her business card with her cell phone number and told me to set up an appointment so we'll meet next week. So it's just how you approach them. If they feel you're new, they're going to treat you like you're new and send you to a very broad general website. But one thing is, at least they're responding to you. You're sending an email and they're responding. It's more than a lot of people. You got to see the positive. But yeah, you have to be able to tell them who you are, what you specialize in, and how you are going to help them, but not cast a net and hoping you catch something. Like they're saying, it has to be very specific to the people that are buying those specific services.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. That makes sense.
Right.
Also, ask them how their day is. Ask them what they did on the weekend. You know what I mean? Because they're people too.
It works. I told this lady, I'm like, wow, this is a big event. It's towards the end of the day. I know you must be tired.
Right.
Like, oh, girl, you don't understand. I'm here to get a bottle of water. I'm like, do you want one? I'll get you one.
Yeah, I agree with Colin. People forget to be humans.
Right.
That's true.
We so like robotic. Like I have this, I got this opportunity. I want this. I want to get that. I want this. I need this from you. That we forget to stop and just breathe and be like, hey, listen, Miss Jefferson, I'm really nervous about meeting you, right? This is my first time doing this. It's my second time. It's my 10th time. I've only been into this for a year. But I do have my stuff together. I've done a lot of research. I know your agency in and out, but I am a little nervous. So bear with me.
I like that.
Oh, honey, child, you don't got nothing to be nervous
Oh,
about.
don't worry about it. You ain't got nothing to worry about. Don't listen.
Oh, baby, come on,
Easy. I'm just little old me. I've been around 30 years, and look, you ain't got to worry about me. You know, so that's how they are. But you can't go in there like, I know what I'm doing. I got this stuff, and I, you know. So,
y'all want to know the secret to this thing? Get them to talk about themselves, their kids, family members. They love it, and it's just get them comfortable. It's gotta get them comfortable because what you sound like every other person that walks up to them or emails them, and they're like, okay, next.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we do that all the time, man. I'm telling you,
it's like dating.
All kind of stuff.
It's like dating. No, you're laughing. It's like dating. That's exactly what it is.
Now that I hear it, it just sounds like, how did I miss that?
It's a courtship,
like it was
right?
right?
It's still apparent, right? Right. Look, that's why we're here to share, because we don't all know everything, right? And it takes the collective group of us to be able to share our experiences. So
True
that
story.
way, you know what I mean? Like, and by the way, I keep telling everyone this, bravo to you for coming up here and asking questions. So I don't want to look past that, because you could have been sitting out there just, you know, complaining and sulking and not came up here and tried to fix your situation. There's 83 people on this call right now, and there's only 5 people came up to the stage. So guess what? A lot of people are sitting back and just sulking, and then they're going to go off tomorrow and complain and have the same poor results, and then figure out what's going on wrong with them.
And not win no contract.
It's much easier to blame somebody else and try to fix your problem. I get it. You know,
True
I want to
story.
but I don't get that luxury. I don't have that luxury, you know, to be a victim. So I got to step up to the plate, and I got to carry all the weight on my shoulders, regardless of whether I did it or didn't do it. It's just that's my responsibility that I've taken upon myself. So it gives me a lot of satisfaction, and I'm happy to. But I get it. It's easier to be a victim. But listen, let me get Miss Jefferson up here, because she's come up here twice now. That's why I brought her to the stage, so she didn't quit on me again.
Okay, thank y'all. I appreciate all y'all for the comments.
Thanks.
Miss Jefferson, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Can you hear echo?
We do hear echo. Is your YouTube on? Turn the YouTube
Yeah,
down.
so I'm going to close the YouTube, and hopefully I don't lose you. Oh, perfect. Okay.
You said that because I don't want to say your first name. I didn't want to mess it up. So, you know, I've known.
She was before our calls, so that's why I know it's Phnesha.
I know. So, hi, Maria. I'm finally on camera. Yesterday, I was on the 405 in LA yesterday on the call, so that's why I did my little message. So, my name's Phnesha Jefferson. You can call me PJ. I'm the CEO of Total Force Support LLC. Maria kind of knows my backstory. I'll share really quickly. I actually have worn every hat. I've been the government customer. I have been a consultant for a DoD consulting firm. Nice. And I just left as the executive director of that consulting firm. I did BD, HR, management, consulting, the full spectrum. I had a team of 25 people, project managers, all of those folks, Lean Six Sigma experts. And so I started my own consulting firm. And I know that people caution against it, but I actually have about 10 NIX codes because of the type of work that I do, management, consulting, professional development, leadership development, coaching. And like I said, I do cradle to grave BD as well. Nice. The reason why I wanted to jump on is I felt like I was like past the collection plate. I was in the comments as Total Force Support LLC. I was like, yes, Colin. Yeah, Maria, because having worn those different hats, everything you guys are saying is true. And I just wanted to foot stomp that for anyone on this call, please do not rule out what they're saying in terms of options. It's not to discourage anyone from being a business owner, but I'll tell you that the only reason why I stepped out on faith and became a business owner is because I put in over 20 years worth of work as building connections and networks as a government customer, as a contractor, working on contracts with customers, and they know my work. And so it's important sometimes to lay that foundation if you're a new company. And if you don't have those networks, you really, like Eric said, you really need to be out there getting those networks. Last month was Women's History Month. I literally, Maria knows this, I did a 6-week preparation before I quit my job. I gave them 6 weeks notice, and I left on really good terms too. So they actually told me, oh, if you want a 1099, and guess what? just because I'm a business owner, I am not 1099 is not beneath me, because that's just going to build more capabilities and more exposure. So I just wanted to put that out there. Didn't want to take up a lot of time, but just the fact that Maria is spot on when she goes over the different options as a consultant. Most of the people who worked on my team made 6 figures. And again, they were all consultants. So I just want to make sure everyone understands that there are so many options on the table. Now, the other thing I want to say is this. I have been watching your videos.
Wait. They didn't hear what you said about your team. Say that again.
Almost everyone on my team made 6 figures. And I have people in LA. I had people, a couple of them in Arizona, the DMV, where I'm originally from, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, where I'm really, so the point is that when Maria's saying it, she's preaching. That's why I'm like, pass the collection plate. Now, the only thing I'm going to say is this, and it's not to spew negativity, but I do want to foot stomp something. And I binge watch your videos, and there was one where it was Saturday morning, and I was like, that's right, Eric, yeah. So there's a video where he talked about capabilities. And I will say this, do not exaggerate your capabilities. Know your lane. Because this is the thing, like I said, I've been a government customer before too. So one of the things is a lot of times they can see right through it. So that's one of them. But the second part is, if you win and can't perform because you said you could do something that you cannot, or you have expertise that you do not have, that's going to hurt you more in the long run than anything else. Because once you get that issue with your reputation, certain government people talk too. And so within the agency, if you like, when I worked for Air Force as a civilian, Space Force as a contractor, people know who's performing and who's not, and they know who says that they have capabilities, who don't. And so I just wanted to put that out there, just a caution. Eric covered it in one of his YouTube videos that I watched, and it talked about capability statements, and I just can't stress that enough. Because I know a lot of people are still trying to figure out where they want to be, but you really do need to play to your strengths and nurture those. I'm sorry, I'm getting into coaching mode, but I'll just say, nurture your strengths, build upon that, and get into those networks of people who are similar and familiar in the same fields. You have to network, and you have to get out there and have those conversations, because your first customer may not be a government person. It may not, but you can get a customer through those connections that you make. And then the last point is, teaming is good too. Teaming is very helpful. My sister has been registered in SAM.gov for a couple of years. She had one contract over that period of time. She does other stuff, and she's in Maryland, and she's on the East Coast, and I'm on the West Coast. And she had one contract, and she did some training because her degree's in journalism. They just reached out to her last week directly, her previous customer, for an RFQ for 5 courses directly. So she and I are literally working together, putting together a curriculum. It's management and leadership training. It's my niche. I'm just saying the teaming part works. And so you just have to look at everything. Don't leave any stone unturned. And so that's it. That's all I just wanted to say. But I really
like on everybody.
Everything they're saying is true. Everything they're saying is true, and it's so spot on. Like, I feel like the hype man sitting here in LA.
I love it. No, that's great. I feel like definitely this warrants. That's why I left you and Maria up here on your own, so you guys can have your time together, because I thought that was important. But it sounds like to me, Maria, you need to get her and sit down and do a 30-minute or 45-minute session with her.
Oh, I will. She came up last time. That's the one that I told Randy about. I'm like, Randy, you need to pick this lady up for alchemy, because she knows her stuff. She's
we'll get you out there putting together a class that you can teach all these people out here. So we're trying to encourage more people to be on the speaking circuit, so we can recommend folks to speak at some of these conferences and events, because I'm tired of all of these non-performing folks that've never done this for a living, being out there in a speaking circuit, and they don't have any experience, and they're just up there because they paid someone to be there. So we need more people that look like us out there, that know what we're doing, that has the competencies out in front, leading the way, so that when people are in the audience, they see someone like you, they go up to you, grab a hold of you, and say, okay, help me out. Where were you at 5 years ago, 7 years ago? And so what can I do to get there? And you can lead them down that path. So thanks for coming up. I really appreciate it. I think it was very well said.
I'll leave you with this, though. I will say this. Maria knows this. I'm here for a reason, because I don't know everything. And I think that that's important. So yes, there's a lot I do know. There's a lot I do not know. And by watching your YouTube videos, I discovered that. And I was sharing with Maria, I took Shipley, who's supposed to be the industry standard.
You're the one that took Shipley.
That's supposed to be the industry standard.
You're the one that took Shipley. Okay, Maria did say there was a young lady. She told me some lady took Shipley.
Oh, did she say young?
She said, I mean, that's what I say, but she did say that. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, but I'll say that they're supposed to be the industry standard. But I will tell you right now, I have watched your videos. Every single video, there's a nugget that I did not know.
From Shipley,
and also from actually doing the work for 5 years, doing capture.
Yeah. Wow.
Tech right up. So I just wanted to say that you have to be open to learning.
Sure. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. No, that's great. We have another person who's been in business since 1997 for 25 years, been very successful, and she told me the same thing. She says, Eric, I go, why did you take my course? She's like, because, I mean, there's things that I didn't know, and I didn't do it the right way. And while, yes, I am successful in this area, I'm not so successful in this other area. And so I want to be great. I want to be better overall. So,
wonderful.
I mean, I cut my teeth in this, so I'm not, again, I was always taught Shipley was the best, but I don't want to pay the $20,000 or whatever it is to figure out, because they're all in a black box. And I hate that black box thing, like,
well, my company paid for it.
Yeah,
see? My company paid for it last year, and then I used that knowledge. And
we know what? We need your help to get us to be able to say we're like there, right? Maybe we're not structured. Maybe you can help us because you do right curriculum. Maybe because we are right now going through ACE to try to get our programs accredited, and so we would love to. I'm sure, like you said, I know the information, but maybe it's not packaged the right way. So, we could use help maybe repackaging it so that we could offer a $20,000 program, right? That comes with pay, because, like you said, we do have the information.
You do. Well, thank you, guys. I don't want to monopolize your time. I know people have questions, but I just want to say thanks, and you're spot on.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love it. All right, guys. Listen, I think this has been a great session. I think we've covered a lot of topics, right? We're at the 2-hour mark.
I just saw the time, like, ooh.
Yeah, but that's okay. When you're having fun, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then Maria and I were on for an hour from 5 to 6 inside of what you call it? You weren't in there in Mighty Networks Federal Help Center. So, but listen, again, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Colin, for being here. And we'll do it again next time. By the way, if you want help, I didn't put it in here today.
Oh, DOE?
Yeah, on the DOE stuff. We should have dropped it in here. Right. Right. Sign up for technical assistance with DOE, govconeric.com/DOE, if you want technical assistance, and we'll put you on a list. And so whenever we move forward with that vehicle, we'll be reaching out to folks. We don't currently have any more scholarships, Maria, except for Florida. Is that correct?
Correct. If it's till the end of this month. So if you're a Florida veteran or a spouse of a Florida veteran, please reach out to Ryan. There are still a few spots available for Florida. All you have to do is email him, tell him, hey, I want to be part of the Govcon Giants Eric program, and I'm a Florida veteran. And it's easy. It's like 2 forms and you're done.
And by the way, this is for Kirk. Kirk, this is a site that we use to help figure out estimating pricing for actual employees and labor that you're going to put on jobs. This is what Maria was talking about. Buy.gsa.gov, which is formerly called GSA Calc. So
let me put in Ryan's information for veterans real quick before we go.
In here.
Got it.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a good night.
Noches.
Good night.